People who caught other people naked or having sex through windows or in public. What happened? I was like 12, walking on the beach at sunrise with my family. We see a balcony overlooking the beach and I notice a couple people there, moving vigorously. I thought they were waving, so I waved back. Realized what they were doing like halfway through the wave as my entire extended, and very religious, family turns to stare at this woman in an open front robe getting absolutely hammered by this guy as they both stare at the sunrise. I was mortified, to put it mildly. My dad made some wisecrack trying to break the tension. It made the silence worse and made it last longer.
My wife and I had a date night and it ended with us in our car eating some Taco Bell before calling it a night and being parents again. Our neighbors were going at it with their blinds open, so we watched for a bit and commented on their routine. They saw us. It made for a funny conversation with them later.
Worked on a highway widening job that had a park off to the side of it. The park was a known gathering spot for homeless people that usually slept in their cars. They never really bothered us, so usually ignored them. That is until one day I see two of them just going to town in the park woods right off the side of the highway. Girl is bent over, dude standing behind just going all out. Literally did not care about the traffic going by or anyone else who may be watching. Promptly drank some Unc juice and went about my day.
I live in Paris. I've seen all of my neighbors naked through the window.
Was walking down street, heard a scream, looked up and saw a couple beep up against an open window in their apartment. Pretty sure it was intentional and they were getting off on people watching them because I made clear eye contact with both and they just kept on going.
I was working in an office building that had a communal conference room right next to our office, the kind of thing that any of the tenants could reserve, as well as a small lounge area. This was on a Saturday, so the entire place was empty aside from two of my coworkers and I. We were sitting in the lounge when we noticed two tweaked-out 20-somethings enter and check a few office doors, all were locked, before sitting on another one of the couches in the lounge and begin making out. They left a minute later. About an hour after that I was coming back from lunch and waked past the conference room window only to see the guy from earlier closing all the blinds. I told my coworkers and we called the office manager, they were in a different building in the complex, before setting up in the lounge to watch. Office manager came by, knocked on the door, and this conversation ensued. Hello, is anyone in there? Guy. We're having a meeting. What company are you with? This conference room has not been reserved. Guy. We need to finish our meeting, we will be done soon, please go away. Sir, if you are not a tenant of this building you need to leave immediately or I will be calling the police. About 10 seconds later the tweaker couple comes running out quickly putting on their clothes. Had to have the conference room deep cleaned after that.
I saw my sister's boyfriend's balls slapping against my sister's ass. I literally felt this powerful force of disgust and horror fire me backwards, with my hand still on the doorknob, slamming it shut. I then clawed at my face as if my eyes had been burned from the sockets, and groaned as if the misery of hell itself was channeling up through my throat. I went downstairs and didn't talk to either of them for a while. Even to this day I can still picture that ballsack. Excuse me, I need to call my therapist, or Priced. Whoever picks up first.
Couldn't sleep one night when I was 5 or 6, so went to my parents' room for a back tickle. Opened the door and SAWW 2 butts and went back to my bed. Didn't get much sleep that night.
I was at my community college one morning for class and I forgot one of my textbooks in my car. I went to my car which was on the other side of the parking lot and lo and behold the car next to me had a couple on top of each other. The guy inside made eye contact with me for a brief second and I pretended to drop my keys to my car. I heard a small tapping on the glass window and the guy gave me a thumbs up and I nervously gave one back and speedrun back to class.
I was walking on the Gower, I think it was near Peanut Beach. Anyway, there was this woman in her 20s riding her boyfriend enthusiastically in the bushes. She was totally naked and I could see her tits bouncing up and down. You'd think that when she saw me she would have freaked right out? But nope, she maintained eye contact with me while continuing to ride the guy she was with. I don't know if they were exhibitionist or doggers and maybe hoping I was going to join them in some way, but I don't swing like that and I noped the beep out as fast as I could. It sounds like a porn movie scenario, but it was just super awkward.
My freshman year of college, I had a dorm and a roommate with autism. So he just really didn't understand social cues. Like every time I'd come back from class, He'd be jacking it. That wasn't really the issue. Like, yeah, I get it. Whatever. The problem was, whenever I'd come in, I'd make a lot of noise, like really taking my time and fumbling my keys, etc. I'd come in, he wouldn't stop or try to cover up or anything. He'd just look me straight in the eye with this attitude behind his stare that read to me as, how dare you interrupt me. I eventually confronted him about it. Like, hey, I need to come in at these specific times. Could you please not masturbate at those times? Well, he did not like that. He just screamed I was fixing my pants and attacked me. Luckily, I had a lot of friends at the time and stay with them most of the time after that, but it was the weirdest situation.
Worked as a projectionist at the local movie theater as a teenager. People would do anything and everything in what they perceived to be an empty auditorium. It was crazy LMAO. One time we had to kick out a sheriff and his wife after we caught them having some raunchy sex. There were other people in there too, they did not give a beep edit, ha. The projection booth is still set up as two different sides separated by an upstairs hallway in which some of the bigger auditoriums exited to. So you would have to cross this long ass halfway to go from one booth to the other. Backstory, also why there were two of us working on busier nights. The night this happened, my coworker sees me walk into his side booth and yells for me to come, check this beep beep out. I run over and literally watch this huge guy get off this woman, pull up his pants, and her ferociously clean herself with thin AF concession stand naps, still spread eagle. Beep raunchy for this 18 years old back in '05.
In high school, I was involved in church youth group, which was actually pretty fun. The lady that ran it was the mom of one of my good friends, which is how I got involved. The summer before I was a senior, our church hosted a visiting pastor for the summer. He was super cool, and he and his wife had a daughter our age who of course joined us at youth group. She was very plain dressed, conservative looking, but had a wild streak. We went on a weekend camping trip, and during a hike, I walked up on her being bent over a log, shorts around her ankles, by my buddy whose mom ran the youth group. I just turned around and pretended I thought I heard a bear to the group of girls behind me, and we booked it out of there.
I was working at McDonald's. Dude rolled up, ordered like 40 nuggets, and offered me a swig of Bacardi while his girl was just going to town with Roadhead. I declined and took his card because I was like 18 at the time and it was too awkward to call the cops.
Didn't happen to me, but my 7-month pregnant wife and I saw the aftermath. One of our dogs was barking one night around like 3 a.m. She wasn't sleeping well cause hot and pregnant. She went downstairs to see what was up with the dog. Came back 1 minute later, hitting me to wake up. I asked her what is up. She says 2 people are going to town on our recycling can and she wanted me to go down there and run him off. So I get up half asleep to go see for myself. As I come down the steps I see a guy walking down my driveway with lady 10 paces behind him. A car stops and picks him up, and she starts walking down the street. They must have saw her and decided to dip. To this day, she does not find this story funny, but I do and tell it all the time. Edit. 7 months, not moths lol.
We were all sleeping in the same room, then I heard a strange noise. I turned the light on, and my guy friend was on top of my girlfriend, both naked of course. They just told me, this is not what you think. Because we all knew that my girlfriend had a boyfriend.
We started cheering for the man. The man proceeded to cheer back.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to subscribe to Upvote for the best quality content every day.